Welcome back to Off the Cuff here at Oswego City Hall. Thank you for tuning in. This was an exceptionally busy month, so I'm looking forward to providing this update. I know I say that every month, but this time I really mean it. We've had two significant ribbon cuttings that I'll talk about and a couple special events that went over really well here with the public. So the first, working chronologically, last month we had Governor Kathy Hochul here in Oswego, which was a great celebration and a great honor. She was in town to cut the ribbon on the new indoor splash water park, which was part of our DRI and has a lovely indoor water park, a nice arcade, bar, restaurant, party room. So it's really a great facility for people to visit here if you're Oswego residents or visiting from outside of Oswego. It's a great attraction, and I think will really help boost tourism here in Oswego. But in my opinion, more importantly was the fact that the Splash Indoor Water Park was the final project in our DRI that started back in 2016 to be completed. So all 12 of 12 DRI projects are now complete, open, and operating, and we are actually the first in the state of municipalities who have won the DRI to complete all 12 projects. So she was here to credit us for our work and celebrate that, and also announce another $200 million in funding for other municipalities to try to go after to improve their downtown as we have these last 8 years. So that was a great day and then I'm also happy and particularly proud of the fact that the 12 projects we completed were 12 projects, the original 12 projects from our DRI back in 2016, which is pretty neat. Took a lot of work, a lot of time and effort, but and we overcame a ton of obstacles to get all 12 original projects done within my time as mayor. So I'm happy to get that done. And then the governor and I actually went to Syracuse to speak at a forum where elected officials and planners and community development directors from all over New York State had gathered to learn more about the DRI, how they should apply, and should they be successful, how to be as successful as Oswego was. So it was an honor to join her and talk to the other municipal leaders who are going to try to make a go of it themselves and really use Oswego as a model statewide on how to get the DRI, the most return out of your DRI, and how to get it done within a reasonable time frame. So that was a great day. At the same time, a couple weeks later, we cut the ribbon on the new Cahill project. If you remember, that was a $10 million improvement project to what was formerly known as the International Pier. This is next to Wright's Landing, where the Oswego Yacht Club used to be. So if you haven't been down there, you need to check it out. It's the $10 million project reinforced the steel sheeting all the way around the pier to stabilize the actual structure. Some additional riprap on the west side of the pier, and then the surface work converts that area from an abandoned coal trestle to a beautiful public park. There's a decorative fountain on the end, a couple more fire pit seating areas on the end, some cute statues out there to keep the kids entertained, and a boardwalk around the perimeter, which people are really enjoying. So we had a couple state officials come in to cut that ribbon. That was paid for fully by a grant from New York State known as the Ready Grants. And I believe the International Pier project we completed is the biggest grant project from that program that has officially been completed. So we're proud of that fact as well. At the same time, we renamed the pier, dedicating it to former Mayor Cahill. We had his family on hand for the ceremony, and it was, I think, an appropriate choice because he was a commercial fisherman on Lake Ontario, one of the last commercial fishermen. A lot of elected officials and government officials would consult with him during his time as a fisherman on the waterways, fish movement, and other nautical information. He owned Cahill's Fish Fry restaurant, which was actually part of our DRI, known as the Coleman Building, and now it's Market Rate Apartments. And his family owned that restaurant as a fish fry here in downtown for many, many years. And then he was the mayor of Oswego from 1980 to 1988. And if you look back at the last time some waterfront improvement projects were done, like Wright's Landing and the West Linear Riverwalk, that happened under his watch as well. So I think he was a very appropriate choice, and proud to be able to do that for Mayor Cahill and his family. The mayor's obviously since passed, but we were happy to have his family there for us, and would encourage you to go check out the new pier. It's really a cool project, and the reviews from the public have been so far quite positive. We just finished hosting the Family Fun Days at Brightback Park. The event, unfortunately, because it was so windy and we have so many inflatable rides and a zip line, we had to cancel Saturday, but Sunday the crowd was massive. It was a great day. The vendors did well, kids had fun, families had fun. So continue to thank people for patronizing our city events and making sure that people know, especially incoming elected officials, how important those events are, so they can stay funded and continue and give Oswego families things to do, activities to do all throughout the year. Speaking of money and priorities, perhaps just as big news is I presented the 2024 Oswego City budget. For the 7th year in a row, we will not be raising taxes, and we maintain funding in various departments, including special events, and make quite an investment in equipment and infrastructure. This was a strategic move on my part to set the next administration up for success. Unlike the hand I was dealt in 2016, I want to leave the next mayor with some fresh equipment, plenty of material, and be able to look at the equipment list next year and not have to fund as many asks that will come in. So the city's set up in good financial shape. The only difference between this budget and some previous budgets I've done is I've always been proud to not use any of the city's fund balance to balance the budget. This is something government at every level typically does, to say they balance a budget when in all reality they're spending more than they're taking in. However, the situation for me this year was a bit unique and different in that we have more fund balance than we really should. So if you look at my 8 years as mayor, throughout my 8 years, we've managed to put $10 million back into the fund balance. This was predominantly done in 2017 through 2019 when we were able to sock away a lot of money there. When I took office, there was about $8 million. So we have about $18 million in the fund balance. Now, state guidelines suggest that municipalities should only have about 20% of their annual operating budget in their general fund, which would put us between $8 and $9 million. And if you have that much money sitting in the fund balance, it can mess with state formulas like CHIPS fundings and state aid and other funding, certainly grant funding that you can go out and get. So we're going to spend down some of that fund balance. I'm going to allocate $4 million to this budget for that fund balance, and that'll fund a lot of the equipment asks that I have that will set the next administration up for success. After I spend the $4 million, assuming the council approves it, we'll still have $14 million, which is some $5-6 million more than we should have in our rainy day fund. So the city is really, really well off financially, and I think that's a good thing for residents for many, many years to come, and certainly the next incoming administrations. I guess you could say it's a good problem to actually have to spend some of the money in your fund balance, which to the average person is known as their savings account or a rainy day fund. The council will hopefully make minimal changes and is set to adopt that budget on August 28th, which will come to a public hearing and a vote, and will take effect on January 1st. And then finally, we recently announced a free concert we're bringing to Brightback Park, which is pretty unique. As most people know, we have the Rock the Dock series, the Summer Concert series, and the Water Street Square Concert series, which mainly have rock bands, pop bands, and different types of music. This particular concert is going to be really unique in the fact that it's the Syracuse Highland Band, which is a Celtic drumming pipe band, and they entertain you as well. So I think that's something really unique that people will enjoy, who enjoy that music, and maybe people will step out if the weather's nice and enjoy something they've maybe never been exposed or experienced before. So that's August 30th in Brightback Park, 6 to 8 p.m. That's a free concert. Bring some lawn chairs, and coolers are welcome as well. That's the complete report for this month. Next month we'll hopefully have an approved budget, and we have a couple more events that we'll talk about later for the public to attend and enjoy. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next month.